Ben on 2nd and 5, throws it down the field, and it's incomplete, overthrown.
Ben is upset at himself right here.
Juju Smith-Schuster is blown up. Boom! It's perfect execution.
Roethlisberger back to throw. Fires a pass. It's intercepted.
Nice.
Picked off at the 38-yard line.
Ben Roethlisberger threw it right to him.
Runs after faking to Pirine. He's to the 15, the 10, middle of the field, into the end zone.
On 4th down, Ben gets the snap. He throws the pass, and it's incomplete. Too tall for the intended receiver. The Pittsburgh Steelers came as a 2-touchdown favorite, and this is an embarrassing loss.
So here's the good news for the Steelers. They already clinched a playoff berth. So if they can turn this around, they can clinch the AFC North Division this week with a win or with a Browns loss. But let's turn to a voice of reason here and former Steelers linebacker Ryan Shazier. He seems to know what the problem is. He tweeted this out: man, if we don't fix this offense, the season is going to end real quick. D-Hall and Shaun, come on in, guys. I'm going to keep it real simple for you here. What is wrong with the Steelers? Shaun, what is your assessment?
Well, MJ, look, I think they were kind of on autopilot there when they were on their 11-0 run, and you start to kind of lose track of the things that got you the victories. Offensively, it's not just Ben. Ben had some errant throws. He missed a lot of throws high, a lot of poor decisions as well. But Alejandro Villanueva, the left tackle, he got worked, and he got worked bad. The receivers, look, I think that there was a couple times where there were two receivers in the same spot. So just not the same chemistry, not the same synchronization that they had been accustomed to earlier this season. So no doubt about it, they've got to get the simple stuff right. We heard Mike Tomlin talk about it was a JV performance weeks ago. We heard him talking about they've got to make the routine plays routinely. Well, look, it's still back to the basics for Pittsburgh. But I do think they're still a really good football team. Everything that I saw on film was all fixable. They're just going to have to get their hands dirty and get back to work.
Yeah, Shaun, you're absolutely right. When you talk about complacency in the National Football League, it's so easy to get caught up in that hype sometimes. And I think you're absolutely right. When you watch the Steelers play football, they have guys that can beat you in one-on-one situations. This offense early on in the season when they were 11-0, they were able to run the football a little bit more effectively. And so you watch over these last 4 weeks, they haven't been running the football at all. They put the sole production of this offense on short, quick passing. And so, even when Ben has had the opportunity to try to push the football down the football field, he's, I think, 1 for 14 in passes of more than 10 air yards. And so you can't win a football game just trying to complete short, quick passes if you're not going to incorporate anything into your run game. And so I think the thing that made this Steelers team great for so many years is that they were always considered physical. They always were able to run the football, and they always played really good defense. You put on the film and you watch those guys play, sometimes you don't even see the effort or the want to out of those guys.
It was almost painful to watch last night, guys. And listen, a quick note on Big Ben here. Roethlisberger earned a PFF grade of 25.1. That is his lowest ever in a single game. Going back to when PFF began assigning player grades, that was back in 2006. It's the second lowest grade game by a starting QB this entire season. Guys, thanks. Listen, thanks for being honest and, of course, for keeping it real. And as you both have said before, your locker room, your teammates are going to be the first ones to check you. And that's what I'm hoping is happening here with Dwayne and the rest of the football team. Thanks, guys. We'll check in with you a little later in the show. Listen, up ahead this weekend, we have you covered starting Friday. Christmas Day, it's Vikings Saints. Saturday, a triple header. Bucs Lions on NFL Network, 49ers Cardinals on Prime Video, and Dolphins Raiders on NFL Network to close out your day. Hey, Drew Brees, why don't you get us started?
We said it fast and furious. Trust yourself. Trust the man next to you. Trust the player. Yeah. One play at a time. I want to see how good we can be today.
Breeze out of the gun, looking left, throws over the middle. Caught Alvin Kamara reaching. Touchdown, Alvin Kamara.
Tonight's the night. And we put it in. Every one of you, man. Let's go, baby. 1, 2, 3.
Murray in the backfield. Breeze under pressure in the pocket. Back of the end zone, wide open. Touchdown.
Okay, so here's a look at the NFC playoff picture. The Saints are the 2 seed, have already clinched the playoff berth. It's the Vikings and the Bears who are fighting to play football in January. They are the only 2 teams left in the NFC who are sitting on the outside looking in. The Vikings play the Saints on Friday, of course, and Jane Slater is covering the game for us.
After winning 9 straight, the New Orleans Saints have lost their last 2. They're hoping to reverse that latest trend, though, when Minnesota travels to New Orleans to take them on Christmas Day. Now, the Minnesota Vikings defense is not up to the standards that they're used to, according to safety Harrison Smith. 5th in 2019, they are 25th this season. He said, look, the NFL's a business. You've got injuries, but if you are a good player, you take it personally, and you get the sense that he does. Also of note, Drew Brees, who started the game a little rocky, 0 for 6 on his first passing attempts and didn't complete a pass to the second quarter. He says, look, he was just trying to find his rhythm. He feels fine this week. The only challenge, making sure he gets all the recovery that he needs. On a week, you typically get 7 days to prepare for a game. This week, you get 5. That plan already in place.
Thanks, Jane. And let's break down this one in Tale of the Tape. Michael Robinson and LaDainian Tomlinson, come on in to break this one down. The Vikings-Saints game, guys, like many matchups this season, not so clear-cut as one would think. Drew Brees now back in action for a team that just took back-to-back losses, each of them coming by just 3 points. Rob, who has the edge on this one at the QB position?
To me, this isn't close. This is Drew Brees, and I'm not just talking about in terms of being able to put up numbers, which Drew Brees can. He's completing 71% of his passes, 21 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. But I do think Kirk Cousins will put up numbers, but it's more of the decision-making in critical situations. Drew Brees is a master at putting the ball where it needs to be put and not turning the football over. As I just mentioned, only 4 interceptions. So in this matchup, I'm just looking at who's going to make the right decisions. And I think time and over, in big situations and big games, you see the New Orleans Saints pushing for that number 1 seed. I think Drew Brees is gonna perform well, and he has the edge in this matchup.
All right. Well, LT, what about that backfield matchup in this one, huh? We have a guy by the name of Dalvin Cook on one side, Alvin Kamara on the other side. Who gets it in your eyes for the running backs?
Well, MJ, on this Tale of the Tape for the running backs, 2 is better than 1 for me. And I'm talking about the 2 of Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray, because you can't have Alvin Kamara without Latavius Murray. They work well together. Alvin Kamara is a problem within itself. 700 and 700 rushing and receiving already. The guy's phenomenal. He does it all. But Latavius Murray is the hard hat guy. He comes in between the tackles. He loosens the defense up, breaks you down, and that's what makes their offense go, these 2 guys. I love Dalvin Cook. Might be the best running back in the league, but he's going against the Saints this week. They're really good against the run defense, and they're going to crowd the box and make Kirk Cousins throw the football this weekend.
All right, so far we're leaning towards the New Orleans side. So, Rob, what about the receivers? Vikings with a standout rookie, the Saints, more than a few impactful vets here, huh?
Yeah, for the wide receiver one, I got to go with the Minnesota Vikings here. I'm looking at, this young kid, Justin Jefferson. I mean, he's a stud. I mean, over 1,100 receiving yards. He's silky smooth. He has route versatility, can run crossing routes, hitch routes. He can beat you deep, and he can take screens and go the distance with it. And then you look at on the other side, Adam Thielen. He's a route technician. I think he is close to the leader in the National Football League in touchdown receptions with 13 touchdown receptions. So I got to lean toward the Minnesota Vikings in this matchup. If Michael Thomas was playing, that may be a totally different conversation, but Michael Thomas isn't playing. So in this one, I got to lean toward the Minnesota Vikings.
That's that X factor we always talk about. LT, don't make me say it because you already know the phrase on defenses, right? The NFL rankings lean pretty heavily towards one of these 2, but what say you?
Hey, did y'all just hear James Slater about the Minnesota Vikings defense? All the problems that they're having on defense, all the injuries they got on defense. How in the heck I'm going to pick the Minnesota Vikings? You know it's the Saints. Man, these dudes balling out in every aspect of defense, rushing the passer, rush defense. They can cover on the back end. They can do it all. Man, it's the Minnesota Vikings. Y'all going to quit playing. I mean, I'm sorry. The Saints.
Oh, yeah. You stop playing. You stop playing.
I knew it. All right, Tale of the Tape. It says it right there. The guys are leaning heavily towards New Orleans. All right, thank you, guys.